The first diplomatic delegation from Earth stepped onto the observation deck of the Galactic Council space station and squinted. Not from the dazzling array of alien dignitaries that greeted them, but from the harsh, unfiltered starlight streaming through the massive viewports. "Something wrong with your visual organs?" asked Ambassador Trill, his translucent appendages retracting slightly under his protective suit. The council members behind him murmured with concern. Commander Jack Ellis, leader of the human delegation, smiled and shook his head. "Not at all. We're just adjusting to the brightness. On our ships, we typically dim the lights slightly." A collective gasp rippled through the gathered aliens. The council's chief medical officer, Dr. Nex, scuttled forward on 6 spindly legs. "You allow direct starlight into your habitats without filtration?" "Of course," replied Dr. Lisa Owens, the mission's xenobiologist. "Humans evolved under the light of our sun. We need it for vitamin synthesis and general health." The aliens exchanged troubled glances. Council historian Vrock, an ancient being with skin like weathered parchment, approached the humans with visible trepidation. "Perhaps you misunderstand. This viewport faces directly toward an unshielded Class G star. Even at this distance, the radiation should be problematic for carbon-based life." The humans looked at each other in confusion before understanding dawned on Jack's face. "You're worried about sunlight hurting us?" he asked, trying to suppress a smile. "Our species evolved under constant solar radiation. We're quite resistant to it." The council chamber fell silent. For most spacefaring civilizations in the galaxy, solar radiation represented an existential threat. Their home planets orbited dim red dwarfs or were shrouded in perpetual cloud cover. Even brief exposure to unfiltered starlight caused severe cellular damage to most species. "Impossible," whispered High Counselor Zim, his crystalline form vibrating with disbelief. "No organic species can withstand direct stellar radiation." Jack gestured to his team. And yet, here we stand. The revelation sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Human resistance to solar radiation wasn't merely unusual, it was unprecedented. Most species required specialized shielding technology even for brief planetary excursions. The entire galactic infrastructure was built around this limitation. As the days passed, the human delegation became unwitting celebrities. Scientists from across the galaxy requested interviews, tissue samples, and demonstrations of this remarkable adaptation. Dr. Owens tried explaining the science. "Our planet has a magnetic field and atmosphere that filters the most harmful radiation. Over millions of years, we developed melanin production, DNA repair mechanisms, and other adaptations. Some of us even deliberately expose our skin to sunlight to darken it. We call it tanning." The concept of voluntarily exposing oneself to starlight for aesthetic purposes nearly caused a diplomatic incident. Several delegates required medical attention after the shock. The implications extended far beyond biology. Human starships featured actual windows, not just view screens, allowing crews to look directly into space. Human colonies could be established on planets that other species considered uninhabitable death traps. Their military vessels could operate in high-radiation environments that would incapacitate other species' crews. "They can walk on planets under open skies," muttered Defense Minister Krull to his aides. "They can build structures that aren't buried underground or heavily shielded." Their agricultural potential alone, the strategic advantages were obvious. Humans could terraform and inhabit worlds that other species could only visit briefly in protective suits. They could construct vast solar energy arrays without the expensive radiation conversion technology other species required. 1 month after their arrival, the human delegation was invited to a special council session. "We wish to formalize an alliance with Earth," announced High Counselor Zim. "Your species' unique capabilities complement our technological advantages. Together, we could expand into regions of the galaxy previously considered uninhabitable." Jack nodded diplomatically. "We'd be honored, but I'm curious. What exactly caused this sudden interest in partnership?" Historian Vrock stepped forward. "There is an ancient threat we've never discussed with newcomers so early in diplomatic relations. Beyond the outer rim lies a vast empire of photosynthetic beings who thrive in intense stellar radiation. For millennia, They've pushed us back from the brightest regions of the galaxy. No species has been able to challenge them until now. You want us to fight your wars? Jack asked, his expression hardening. Not at all, replied Zim. We want you to help us establish peaceful contact. These beings have never encountered a non-photosynthetic species that can survive in their environment. You could be the bridge between our civilizations. The proposal was unexpected but intriguing. Humanity had only just reached the stars, and already they were being asked to serve as diplomatic intermediaries between ancient galactic powers. As the human delegation returned to Earth with the Council's proposal, Jack gazed out the viewport at the distant stars without the slightest discomfort. What humans had always taken for granted, their simple ability to stand in sunlight, had suddenly become their greatest asset in the galactic community. Something so fundamental to human existence, so ordinary it had never warranted a second thought, had left an entire galaxy in awe. Perhaps that was humanity's true gift to the stars, finding extraordinary potential in the ordinary aspects of life that evolution had granted them. As Earth came into view, bathed in the golden light of the sun, Jack wondered what other ordinary human traits might one day reshape the destiny of the galaxy.